Show us how you do it.
She's a very difficult customer.
What CRM do you guys use? And I was about to punch him in the face.
We can jump into SumoQuote.
Today we're in Washington, D.C. doing what we like to do the most. We're visiting successful local roofing contractor, American Home Contractors of Virginia. Weather cannot be any better for the roofing.
That's right.
Vance just left. This is what we like to see the most. At Roofing Insights, you guys have seen so many videos about vehicle wraps and so many pieces of content about that. Nissan. How did you come up with that, and why Nissan?
It just was the best value when we made the decision a few years ago, and because of the van wrapping and everything, we stuck with it. It's been an economical vehicle for us. Gets great gas mileage considering the ladder rack, and overall we just haven't had many problems with them. So just the upfront cost and then the combination of the economy of the maintenance has worked out well.
I have one of those, and I'm telling you this, guys, for the price of one truck, you get 3 of those. You look professional. It's absolutely amazing. How much you pay for them? Like less than 20K now?
It's right around 20. Yeah, 20? It's right around 20. Yep.
Looks very good. Looks sharp. So out of this office, what are you going to do this year? Like 4 or 5 million?
Yeah, we're going to finish between 5 and 6. Yeah, we're still trying to push for 6, but we're certainly going to be well over the 5. We're right about 5 right now.
Wow. Show us how you do it. What do we have here? We have 2 brands, 2 3-ladder shingles here. What shingles do you install? We're not going to miss anything in this office. What shingles do you install?
So we install GAF and IKO are 2 of our go-to brands.
Okay. Which lines? Timberline?
The HDZ for GAF, and then for IKO, it depends on the situation. We love the Dynasty, obviously. And then for economy situations, we love the Cambridge as well. When somebody says, give me a 3-tab, we'll at least get them a Cambridge.
You still install 3 tabs?
No, we try not to.
Oh, so
unless
Cambridge is...
Unless somebody refuses. So they would get, they would at least minimum, we'd say, hey, let us give you the Cambridge, no extra cost. That's what we would try to do.
This one here, I think it's discontinued, right? This board?
Yeah, there's been a few changes this year, in the last couple of years, so we might have an outdated board back there, yeah. I
see you have rubber shingles here in the back. Do you install those?
Synthetic? Yes. Yeah, we do synthetic. Not as much, but we usually do a couple jobs a year.
Okay. What do you think of those?
Like synthetic slate and the shakes. I mean, it's a great product, but you're not necessarily getting that much better of a warranty, right? And so a lot of people just have a hard time with the price difference. And
you mean paper warranty, but performance, I mean, much better.
Oh yeah, than asphalt, yeah. It's literally... But
it's a warranty game for you.
It is. It's value for the customer, right? And then the problem in our area, I feel like it's so transient. Most people don't see themselves in their home longer than 10 to 15 years on average. So for them, they don't need more than an asphalt roof, and that's sort of the challenge. You can get them into the 50-year mindset by the quality aspect of not having the rip-offs from wind damage and things, but going up to the synthetic, like the tiles and things, the slate is a little bit of a challenge.
So what's your best seller?
What we would be, because we're a master lead contractor, GAF would be our top seller for sure, and then it's probably a mix-up. I mean, IKO, and then we have HOAs, for example, in this area where all they've approved is Certainteed. So we'll go with Certainty. We literally have that. Or if someone's done the research and prefers that. Owens Corning, because their performance ratings on some sites are really good, we're getting more Owens Corning requests now. So we're just certified with all of the top brands, the top 4 brands, just for that reason. If a customer's done the research, has a clear preference, we'll just answer their questions, give them what information we have, and do what they want ultimately. So,
love it. What do we have here? I love American flags. All over the...
Well, it's kind of our theme here, American Home Contractors. So yeah, we're kind of big on the flag theme. So this would just be, this is our office manager, Sarah, that sits over here.
And it's pouring hard now.
Yeah, it's raining like crazy out there. So yeah, scheduling happens here and just kind of office management and...
Every successful business I go to have this book.
Yeah, well, that's our main focus this winter as a team. We're really working on implementing that model. We've done parts of it, but this year is 2021 is our year to implement the kind of full process. That's our hope.
Highly recommend. I swear.
So most of my team's already read it, and now we're kind of working through it as a team.
You like it?
Oh, yeah. Everybody likes it. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I've read the book twice, so.
How many phone calls you usually get per day?
Man, it varies. On a day like today, I mean, inbound, I mean, our outbound, we like to at least clear outbound 100 plus calls where we're calling out based on, yeah, and that's depends on how the inquiries come in.
You have
no, that's just a couple people scheduling, calling out, you know, so each scheduler usually calls out 40 to 60 times a day, and then inbound varies, right? It could be 30 and it could be 80. It really depends on the day and the demand.
Do you door knock?
We do door knocking only when we're working in a neighborhood. So we primarily do door knocking to let neighbors know that we're working there, or like, you know, if somebody's had a wind claim, we'll let people know, but we're not really what you'd classify as a door knocking company. We don't do it that much. Yeah.
Do you do a lot of insurance work? You mentioned wind claims.
Yeah, we do. A lot of that comes in through our repair department. So we go out to do a lot of tune-ups and repairs. And if we feel like there's enough damage to file a claim, that's when we educate the customer about the process. And then our sales team would kind of take over the process and help the customer through the claim process. But we've already had a technician at that point taking pictures, documenting the damage, and therefore we're able to help them through the claim process.
Would you say that your repair department brings a lot of full replacements claims?
It does, yeah, it does. It certainly is kind of a relationship building program. We don't really try to make that much money off the repair side of things. You certainly do, you know, at certain times, but overall it's a relationship building opportunity to just provide the customer with great service and be there when they're ready to do the project, whether now or in the future. Yeah.
How many repair vans do you have in a repair techs? Are they all employees?
5 for Virginia. For Virginia, we have 5 vans and employees that work on the technician side. Yeah, they're all employees, full time. Yeah. Very
impressive. Usually, business owners don't deal with the repairs because they don't understand long-term goals.
Right.
They want to hear now, and it's like not enough money, too much hustle.
Right.
Too many moving parts, but glad you figured it out.
Yeah, well, and the more that 50-year roofs get put on, the more that you got to find other ways to service people, right? And so I think repairs are important if you can provide a great service, and if the roof is in good condition, but at least an inspection, caulking of flashings, pipe collars. You know, if it is a 3-tab, there might be a couple missing tabs. If it's not enough for an insurance claim, you know, you can repair those. So those types of things.
What advice would you give business owners out there who are struggling to put a repair department together? I get this question a lot. Where do you find guys? How do you motivate them? And where do you find service techs?
So sometimes it might have been a situation where a guy was a subcontractor, right? And he's wanting something more stable. And not having to run his own kind of crew, and so that might be a good fit. Otherwise, I mean, we've recruited carpenters, we've recruited guys that have worked on roofing crews, so it's really been varied. It is.
How do you pay them? Hourly or
salary?
Salary?
Yeah, we pay them salary plus bonus and commissions based on performance. Wow. Yeah, so you have to pay them well. That's the challenge. You have to pay them well to retain guys that are willing to pull out a 40-foot ladder and climb up on a 3-story roof, you know?
Yep.
So it's certainly not the easiest position to hire for. It is a challenge. You just got to always be recruiting and looking for that kind of talent.
Well, you've done well, and I have the same experience. 5 years ago, I had a crew that was breaking up, and they couldn't find employees to work for them. So I offered 2 brothers to work full-time and give them both salaries. Worked for me for like 5 years.
Yeah.
So amazing.
Yeah. So this is our financial administrator, Vernon. So he handles all of our invoicing, you know, our payment of subcontractors, payment of vendors.
My name is Vernon McKenzie. I am the financial administrator here at American Home Contractors. Basically, I just oversee all the accounts receivables, accounts payables, make sure everything is up to date as far as the financials are concerned.
What's the oldest bill you have right now that you're trying to collect? How long have you been in collections?
The oldest that I've seen is from April.
From April. Why they're not paying?
She's a very difficult customer, I'll just say that.
So you have those too?
Oh, yeah.
So from April.
Good with the bad. It's good with the bad.
Sure. From April, what's her excuse? Give one advice how to collect money faster in this business.
Well, it's been I think the hardest thing is trying to get in contact with her. Trying to reach out to her, email, calling, and it's just, you know, sometimes she responds, sometimes she doesn't.
How much she owes you?
It's about, off the top of my head, I think it's about $1,500, something like that.
1,500.
Balance, yeah.
Do you guys do a lot of liens on the properties?
No.
No? Never file a lien?
Yeah, to be honest with you, we don't have a lot of ongoing collection problems.
Sure.
That's abnormal for April.
Sure.
Yeah, most things get resolved.
But every once in a while, you'll have one or two. I mean, I think every business...
Yeah, I mean, we had one 2 years ago where it was an insurance situation. He spent all the money. You know, the sales guy hadn't made sure he had both of the husband and wife's names on the contract, and it turns out the house was in the wife's name. So in that case, because it was a large amount, I think it was like $15,000, we would have done a lien just because they literally just spent the money and refused to pay for an entire roof job that was like $15,000. But unfortunately, we didn't have the documentation in place to do it because the wife, the homeowner, hadn't signed. So the husband had signed, and he was not on the, you know, on the deed. So, you know, it was a lesson learned just to be careful. And unfortunately,
did you take them to small claims?
We didn't, because at the same time, right around the time we were trying to work it out, he actually moved down to Florida, and it just became really difficult. You know, I mean, he sold the house, so it was like before we could really take any further action.
Wow, lesson learned for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so we've had a couple of those through the years.
But fortunately for me, collection-wise is easy because it always starts at the beginning with our sales guys. They come out there, they're willing to talk to the customers and have a good experience, start a good rapport, and it carries over to our crews, and then finally sales guys come and do their final punch-outs. So when you have that good relationship with the customer, at the end of the day, when it's time to pay, because they've had such a good experience, such a knowledgeable experience, that they're willing to pay, so it makes everything so much easier.
Do you charge more if they pay you with the credit cards?
Sometimes, if it's been pre-negotiated where they want to pay with the credit card, we don't. But if we've offered them a cash discount, that's how we do it. If we've offered them a cash price based on the final negotiation, then yeah, at that point, they would have to pay the 3%, you know, unless it's extenuating circumstances. I mean, if somebody's lost their job or something, we make exceptions.
Of course.
But yeah, overall, we try to charge it if we've negotiated a cash price.
Of course. Any other challenges in collections? Do you do a lot of financing? Do you offer financing?
Not a lot.
What do you think our percentage is right now? Around 20% even? You think it is of financing deals? Or like 80 cash, 20% financing?
Yeah, I don't even know if 20% is that much.
Yeah.
I would say more like 15 to 10 maybe.
10 to 15% financing. We're almost all cash here. Yeah, checks, you know.
Do you see it's trending? Like more and more people want to finance the jobs? I mean, 20 is already like above the industry standard.
We're in a bit of an abnormal area, right? We have a lot more disposable income here. You know, I mean, your average median income here is over 100,000. So it just puts people in a different buying position. So yeah, most people want the cash discount. You have some people, certainly credit card buyers, that want the points. But on the financing side, he's probably right. It's probably in that 15% range.
Who do you use for financing?
Our go-to is Green Sky currently, and then we also work with Synchrony and Mosaic. So those are the three ones that we work with.
Nice.
Yeah.
Give one tip or advice to brand new business owner who has receivables out of control. I see guys asking me all the time, like they just can't collect fast enough, and they literally go and find loans to support the growth and to have cash in the bank.
I mean, I guess now, patience. I mean, obviously you want to deal with a customer that wants to pay, wants to get everything, wants to get his books cleared, but then you have those difficult ones that, you know, giving you the runaround or giving you excuses or just not even answering your phone. So you have to be patient, persistent, and just keep at it. And, you know, that's probably the main thing. There's always the light at the end of the tunnel.
But meanwhile, if you don't have money to meet your payroll, and if you're brand new, I mean, if you have money in the bank, it's a different story. But I see guys who can't pay their sales guys, and it's great advice to have patience. But I think we all struggle with it.
Yeah.
Where do you get the patience from?
Well, I mean, I guess you have to keep keep at it, keep persistent. You know, got to keep calling these people, and I mean, eventually you'll get what you need. But I guess you just have to keep banging that drum. Got to keep calling them.
I think what helps us is we have a team approach here. So the salesman's always involved. We call them project coordinators here. So they're involved until the final payment's made and the final punch out's completed. So they are assisting with the management and coordination of that. And so what that helps with is the salesman, the project coordinator's been the one that had that relationship from the beginning, and therefore has to be working if there's things they're unhappy about to resolve it, you know. And certainly there's times we have to give discounts because there was a mistake made, a bush was damaged, something happened. But overall, it's a relentless team approach. So if we are having problems with collections, Vernon will be assisting. You know, I'll get involved as the owner, obviously, and then the salesman. So, and then we're texting, we're calling, you know, we're emailing.
How often do you get involved in billing or?
Not very. Normally, I get involved with very unhappy clients. So I'm involved if we did drop the ball on something. That's when it's like, if there's legitimate things we should have done better, then of course they want to regain some trust and resolve their issues. They need to have the owner involved normally. And so that's when I step in and work with them to try to remedy their concerns. If there is things we did wrong, make it right, you know, fix it, and make sure that they're happy with the work, so then they'll pay. Or if there's a situation where, again, based on a bush getting damaged or something, I'm involved typically in negotiating the final settlement amount that they're going to pay, or at least approving the amount that the salesman works with them on.
Another American flag?
Oh yeah.
Do you have cereal here?
Cereal? No, we got snacks and a bunch of other stuff. I think there's some oatmeal packets in there. Everybody does the coffees and stuff.
Good carbs right here. This is good carbs,
yeah,
guys.
That's leftover from all our team meetings yesterday. Yeah, we've been buying a little bit too much. Everybody's, I guess, eating healthy. So this is our production office. So Catherine schedules all of our projects.
Hey, Catherine.
Basically orders the materials, schedules the crews, and communicates with the customers to coordinate the projects getting done.
Awesome. What's going on here? Mystery box. What is this?
So that's something we do for clients that are giving us referrals and things. We'll kind of put some, you know, maybe gift cards and obviously American Home Contractor garb, you know, in there and drop it off in person for them. So yeah, it's something there's not a lot of stuff in there right now, just a few things. And then, you know, we'll customize it based on the situation, you know.
Absolutely love it. Who makes it for you? Local company?
I'm not actually sure the company name because we just jumped on board with Maryland. They actually ordered those with our Maryland office, so they were the ones that coordinated that, and then we just got a bunch of them sent here. So yeah, don't know the name of the company, but they did a good job with them.
Yeah, they did. I love it.
Yep.
So what this office does? What is it again?
So
what CRM do you guys use? I see CRM there, or is it just a Google?
Well, right now we're actually going to be switching in the next couple of months, but right now we're using Trello. That's how we manage all our production right now. Wow. So we have a whole system, you know, where jobs slide through phases of production, from scheduling, material ordering.
What are you switching to?
Well, Monday.com. So it's going to be more of a holistic system for us in terms of management of the client from beginning to end, whereas Trello right now, we just manage production through Trello right now. The integrations are a little bit, they don't work great with Trello. There's some breakdowns with that, but we do like the overall concept, but it's a little bit messy to kind of scale and grow with Trello.
It's similar to Job Nimbus just by looking at it. Like we use Job Nimbus.
Yeah, I think there is some similarities for sure. We've just kind of custom made it for what we need and for management of that.
I actually used Trello for roofing insights in the beginning.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I mean, it's it's got some neat features. I mean, one nice thing is you can copy and paste in and out of it real easy. So for user function, it's great. That's one thing Catherine's kind of dreading is some of the changes we're going to be making will make it a little bit harder to put information in and out, but we'll also streamline it because we're going to automate a lot of that. So right now we just kind of copy and paste from one thing to another. Then we have all these folders on the wall as well, and that's for each of our sales guys, our project coordinators. Basically, we do keep paper files as well. So most of it's managed through the computer, but we do keep hard copies of certain documents like the contract, and sometimes some of the orders and things get printed and put in there, and insurance paperwork may get printed and put in there. So we kind of keep a dual copy that's a hard copy.
What's your percentage of insurance claims versus retail? Okay.
It varies. Like for us in 2018, right, when that windstorm came, that was a huge year for us. So that was well over half of our jobs that year were insurance. This year, you know, I would estimate that insurance plays a part in probably, it's somewhere between 25 and 33, like 1 out of 4 to 1 out of 3 projects. I think it's less than half for sure, but even if it's been partial approval, right, there's insurance money involved, I would say in somewhere in that 25 to 35% range. Yeah.
You mentioned that you have a lot of phone calls going out. So you have like a call center. Like, what do you mean 50, 60 calls a day outbound?
That's just the expectation we have for schedulers. So they basically...
So what does a scheduler do? Just schedule appointments?
Both tech repair appointments as well as sales appointments.
Where they're taking leads from? Like what numbers? Where do they call?
Yeah, so we have different mailers that go out like through Valpak, okay? So we still do some of that paper. We have website inquiries, and then it's Home Advisor, Angie's List, Google. That's an increasing marketing source for us. Yelp, Better Business Bureau. So we're very diverse and spread out in terms of marketing sources.
What's your marketing budget like from gross sales? Is it 5%? Is it...
Yeah, we've been maintaining right around that 5%. Yep, of gross. Yeah. So it kind of fluctuates up and down. I mean,
how many schedulers do you have? How many people schedule?
Right now, 2. We're hiring a 3rd. So we had one person. We had 3. One person transitioned off the team, and we have a 3rd that'll be.
How many sales guys do you have?
Currently, there is 5 plus me. So I still do a lot of sales. So there's 6 of us that are in the field.
So you have
selling.
2 schedulers, schedule appointments for 5, 6 people.
No, actually, there's 5 technicians they schedule for too, because those 5 technicians run.
So technicians do jobs.
4 repair calls a day.
So even before the sales guys goes out?
Correct.
So technicians essentially can sell a job too?
Small things. Otherwise, they'll pass it on to the sales team if there's an opportunity for additional work. So
finally, I'm seeing this. I've been saying it for years. So essentially, you're becoming almost like an electrician and an HVAC guy who charges for the service calls, who can show up and do the job, because most roofing companies, they struggle with that because the process is call comes in, sales guys goes out, sales guys usually does not know how to do the work unless it's owner operator, and you actually figured it out. You have 4 repair techs, you said?
Yeah, 5, yeah.
5.
And I mean, like there's times where they're actually doing repair work, like on a project where they don't want to replace the whole roof, and then other times just doing like inspections and like.
But you will send the repair guys just to sell their job. And what's your minimum service call?
So typically, just like gutter cleaning and stuff, it might be $125 or something. We have different advertised specials out there.
Sure.
So yeah, it depends on the size of the house and the complexity. But yeah, the smallest call might be like $125 they're going out.
Can you show me your best ad or best promotion that you've ever done that like for me, it was for years, it was spring or winter tune-ups, like $99, $129. We loved it.
Well, the tune-up is, you saw the vans, right? So the vans are essentially kind of what our paper print ads look like. Well, I'll have them pull
okay.
Sarah, can you pull a print ad?
Premium roof tune-up. So this brings you a lot of business?
Yeah, so it's a smaller version of that, obviously. We don't mail a full paper size, but yeah, that's the content essentially and branding that we send out to, for advertisement purposes.
And the gutter tune-up, $125. And I bet you this gets you a lot of gutter work.
It does, yeah. And it gets us in the door to build relationships. Yep.
This is the service agreement as well.
So a lot of people don't want to advertise, they don't want to sell because they don't know how to upgrade. And so if your service techs go out there and they cannot do it, so it goes back to the company and sales guy goes in and figure out.
Yeah, normally we're trying to create a good experience for the client. So whatever we can do to improve their situation, we're doing. Cleaning gutters, tightening maybe the old spike and ferrules, you know what I mean? Caulking and sealing and inspecting the roof in the attic. Those are things that we're trying to do to improve their situation. But if it's an older roof in bad condition, then of course we're going to be recommending they take next steps to get an estimate or if there's damage from a storm, we're going to work with them on the insurance side.
Do you have any labor shortage problems here this year or last couple of years?
So last year and this year, I mean, of course, quality labor is always a challenge, right? So certainly we've had some of that, but you know, the crews are working for us right now. We've had them for several years. They're very good, and we have been able to maintain a pretty high standard of quality. Of course, we're always enforcing, you know, inspections on the back end and making sure we're delivering on our promises for quality, and then experience, you know, like with the tarping and the expectations of protecting the home. I mean, they can be challenging on a 12-12 roof or something, but yeah, that's something we're always striving to improve on. Yeah.
Wow. So what is this area? This is your schedulers?
So this is, we have one scheduler working. Brandon has a desk over there right now. We're a little bit crowded right now with our current office layout, and then we'll have sales guys that come in and work at these desks sometimes. Michael's one of our technicians. Because of the rain, he's in here right now hanging out, and yeah, so it's these two desks are floater desks for whoever's in here at the time can use. We always try to have a couple workstations set up.
I have Mac computers for years, and my JM just switched to HP, and I was about to punch him in the face. He claims he has a problem with the Apple computer, which is, I had it for 8 years, never have a problem.
Most of these computers in here, let's see, yeah, they're going on, several of them are like 4 years old. So they're pretty reliable. We don't have problems, really. So I would say in general for smooth, they're a little bit more upfront than what you can pay for on the others, but you get longevity out of them. I mean,
absolutely.
I used to, before I was more of a fan of Apple, I used, you know, a myriad of the other, you know, Dell and a couple others and HP and that. And usually I'd get a year out of it, you know. And then it just started having problems, and I just don't.
And if you do have a problem with this one, you bring it to Apple and they just fix it for free most of the time.
What we did on one of our computers recently is we wiped it back to factory settings, and it's like a new computer again. So, and that's the other thing. Whatever, we've had good success with maintaining these. In here we have our conference room area. This is where we'll do our sales team meetings, our tech team meetings, you know, or interviews or any other more private meetings that we want to hold in here.
What's your closing rate? Or you use Improved 360?
Right now we do. We're going to be switching, but yeah,
it was my first CRM ever, and it was so limited.
We're kind of at the end of our rope with that. This year was a big frustration year for us. It's just the manageability of it, the customizing. You know, it's just so limited. So yeah, we're doing away with that at the end of this year. We're just riding out this year because all our data's in there.
So funny to see it, because this is literally my first CRM. I have it for like 3 months, and I'm like, heck no, I'm not doing it. Can't do it.
Yeah, we made it work. I mean, for a few years.
You can make anything work, but it was so limited.
Yeah.
Is it because of the Angels List relationship you got it? Because I know Angels List was promoting that.
I don't know. It was more so, I think, just one of my business partners had a relationship with them. You know, kind of some of the guys that were involved early on in getting it on the contracting side. And so he just kept that relationship and got us on board. And then we've just kept it. So.
This is in 1 month, so this guy ran 123 tune-ups.
Yeah, and that's just like kind of results as far as what, you know, what
this
they were
is
able
awesome.
to accomplish.
I love stuff like this.
So we have weekly meetings, update them on where they stand in terms of performance, and this is open data, so everybody knows where everybody stands.
Love it.
So it's kind of team accountability too, because we look at team performance and individual performance.
So look at this. Paul is tech of the week. He did 129 tune-ups.
Yeah, that was over the September-October period. So over a 2-month period, he did that many tune-ups, and then
total appointments 141.
And then it's the number of reviews and opportunities that he got.
600 appointments. Wow, that's a lot of people you helped. Wow. How's your competition? Do other people, other roofing businesses do something similar?
There's some. Yeah, there's certainly some, but it's a challenge to run it well and keep the quality service up. And I think that's where we've done well, is we really have focused on just delivering with excellence. You know, we don't, in other words, we don't just view it as an upsell opportunity. We view it as a relationship opportunity, and I think that's key. You know, you have to provide a great experience and take care of the customer. You can't just be there to sell something, to sell more. In other words, otherwise it's like going to that mechanic that you hate, where it's like every time you go, they you know, it's triple what you expected. Yeah, it's like this needs done, and this, you know. You gotta, there's a fine line there. You want to make them aware of any needs they have and be there to help them, but at the same time, you don't want to kind of push them too hard. If they don't need anything, my guys will tell them, you don't need anything. You know, it's great you had this tune-up done. Call us back next year, please. But yeah, you don't need any further work, and we'll just be honest with people, and that's how we train our guys. You know, you got to be honest to have that reputation.
Well said. So what do you have here? Sales type gutters. You have 74 gutter jobs.
Yeah, that's several weeks old. That was one of our meetings several weeks ago, where we were just kind of looking at different sale types and the numbers associated with it.
So you do a little bit of windows too, I see, a couple
doors.
Yeah,
we do windows and doors and different things. Going into next year, we're going to work on our categorization a little better to separate it. Some things are kind of meshed together there. So with the new, you know, kind of a new system for operating next year, we're going to try to keep things a little cleaner. Yeah.
Wow. But the roofing is still your number one. It's 261,
yeah, roofing's our go-to. Yeah, that's kind of what we've built our company on. Yep.
What is the first goal here?
So this is for my 5 other sales guys. So you know, my numbers are not in there. That's just like the 5 guys on the sales team, and we have a competition right now that runs until mid-November, where they've got some pretty nice bonuses and things they can earn. So they've already hit tier 1. And then they're currently just short of tier 2, and the goal is that they'll hit 1.2 million, you know, in that period. So and then they have to hit certain benchmarks for reviews and referrals and that as well. So there's kind of a myriad of things that are criteria for earning the bonuses. So yeah, we just try to make it fun, you know, have some competitions.
How much you pay sales guys? Is it commission fluctuates, or is it off the top? Is it?
Yeah, so pretty much we pay 20% of the job profit.
20%, interesting.
Yeah, so I know it gets tricky because some companies will apply like an overhead before the profit gets taken out. So they might have a higher percentage they're paying, but there's more taken out. We don't, so we're talking about whatever the direct job costs were. No marketing costs applied, no overhead applied, just direct job, then they get 20% of that number. So easiest way to think about it, if they sell a roof for $10,000, and let's just say, you know, on that job it was sold well, and there, you know, there was 50% gross profit after the.
So if materials $2,500 and labor $2,500, it's a $5,000 profit.
Yep, and then they would get $1,000 of that before anything else.
So it's still 10% of the gross.
Yeah, yeah, it is if they're selling at that percentage. Yeah, and then, yep.
Interesting. Something new. What kind of sales presentation you guys have, and what's the sales process in-house?
Yeah, so we typically carry a demo kit where we're going to show them how a roof goes together. And so we'll kind of pull out a piece of plywood and the drip edge and the ice and water shield, you know, walk them through the steps of installation to educate them. But as far as the process goes, I mean, obviously you're there to understand their needs, first of all, build some rapport, start the relationship, and then do whatever inspections needed, right? Gather the data, you know, in terms of the size of the roof, if that's what the project is. And then you're sitting down with the client, showing them the process of installing a roof.
How do you present your quotes?
Yeah, so it varies, right? This year especially, it varies a lot, because in some situations we are presenting everything in the home on the spot. Some situations we're gathering the data and coming back. Some people don't want to meet in person at all. We'll usually try to do a Zoom meeting in that case, you know, where we're doing a virtual meeting where we're presenting it in that way, where we can show them inspection pictures and present a proposal, you know, and all of the information relating to the project, the information about the company, etc. And then there's other times where we have inquiries where they literally don't want to meet in person, they don't want a Zoom meeting, and we just have to email it to them. So we do email quotes when needed. And in some cases, if we've met with them and they're not ready to move forward, we'll email them a quote. And that's when we'll use our SumoQuote and software to put all that together.
Do you have a SumoQuote you can show me, like how you guys use it? So all your sales guys use, what other apps they use?
Yeah, so we're big on CompanyCam. So you're asking about apps. We can jump into SumoQuote, of course, where we'll focus on that. But this is, we love CompanyCam, and so we use this across the board for repairs, replacements, sales, and everything. And so on any given day, we're creating probably 20 plus files, new files per day for new customers. Just based on what's happening, field activity. There's going to be less today because of the rain, but obviously on a normal day, there's quite a bit of new data going into here. And we'll
CompanyCam is definitely a must for anybody.
Yeah, like, and if you go through here, obviously you can see you can go back in time and you can see back to the beginning of the project and, when the first initial inspection was being completed by the sales guy. So these are inspection pictures from the sales guy. And then, continues on to the day of the install. These were pictures taken just to kind of show the existing condition. We do that as a practice, just so, again, if there's marks on the walls and things that were there before, they're noted. The tarping process where we're tarping around the house perimeter, the removal of the roof deck, and then the install of all the materials, from drip edge, ice and water shield, synthetic, etc., all the way through to project completion, so that we have a documented file, and then we share this file with the customer at the end. So definitely, definitely an important part of what we do.
What's your closing rate?
Across the team right now, it's 31%. But to be honest, like, we have several new guys. I expect that to go up, on the team. I have some guys well above that. It's just, that's our average right now. So this would be, let's make this a little bit bigger. So, and I've got it on the big screen up there too. Nice. Yeah, so this is kind of how we put our quotes together. We'll have a cover page with the information about the client, a picture of their house, our quick contact info, general info that goes on everyone. We've got a quick info page about us with our Virginia address, Maryland address, and information that, just letting them know, hey, we do all types of exterior work, kind of just a FYI for future needs, depending what they're doing at the time. Quick feature on our reviews, over 5,000 verified reviews online. Some of the places you can find them. This is a quick introductory letter. And this is from the template inside of SumoQuote. And so we have all these built out. All we do is change the customer name, add a couple of details pertinent to the customer, but you don't have to retype everything from scratch.
This is what customer gets. How long did it take you to create like this one, for the sales guy to create this one from the template?
Yeah, I would say on average to put a really nice quote together with lots of detail. I mean, you're talking 30 minutes of focused work. Oh, wow. And
still not bad.
No. I mean, to do the same type of quality of quote, I mean, it was hours before. So that's one of the biggest changes. And one of the reasons that we got on, we switched to SumoQuote is before we just had templates and we're using Microsoft Word, honestly, just to make our quotes. We had a bunch of templates that you'd pull from and alter them accordingly. But the experience of the client in terms of, like, some guys were good at it, some weren't, and then you didn't really have pictures in there. It's difficult to add pictures. And so what happened to me personally was early on this year, I actually had a client, I thought I was gonna earn their business, and they chose another contractor. And the feedback was, I said, what could have I done better? And he says, look, their other guy's quote was just way better than yours. He said it really wasn't about price, it was the level of detail and pictures and information. I'm like, oh, wow. So that was like, I was like, okay, I thought I did pretty good quotes, but, and that's when, I had seen a demo of Sumo at the IRE, and so I got in touch with them, and that's kind of what triggered me to figure out what can I do to make my quotes better, and especially for my team. I wanted everyone to deliver that, but for me, myself, I wanted to make sure I delivered a better end product to the customer. And so we jumped in at that point and started learning it, and right away, I got great feedback from clients. I mean, homeowners were so impressed. I had a lot of homeowners, especially as COVID came on. It could not have been better timing, because we literally onboarded Sumo right during COVID, right as it came on, and you all of a sudden have limited ability to meet with people. You were learning how to do virtual presentations, and all of that would have been so much more difficult if it weren't for SumoQuote in terms of being able to provide a great experience for the client with information and details. The stuff that we'd normally pull out product literature in person, now a lot of people don't want us in their house, you know? So it's like to be able to deliver that in a cohesive package all put together.
How long does it take for a brand new sales rep to learn SumoQuote? Because all your 5 guys, do your technicians use it too? Or just
not yet. So it's something that I'm going to try to get a simpler, reduced version of that for them this year. That's on the agenda over the winter to get them trained on that. We just, in the season, we have a tough time training guys like that. They're very busy, so we can't really pull them out of the field and train them in sumo. In terms of training, it depends on somebody's technical experience, right? If somebody has a technical background, they can learn it in a couple of days, really. If they spend time, you know, just messing around with it a couple of days. I'd say for some guys, it might take a couple of weeks to get comfortable. Certainly for our team to switch, it was about a 2-month process, I think, to get everybody fully using Sumo, just because they were used to doing it the old way and kind of had to keep pushing it. And what I did is I modeled it for the team, showed them what I was doing, and then showed them my success rate. You know, I started just getting so much great feedback from clients where literally people told me, your quote was far and away the best in terms of detail and professionalism, and that was a big part. It wouldn't necessarily earn the business in terms of closing, but it would keep me in the running to the end where I'd be the last call. You know what I mean? If they hadn't made a decision when I first met with them, they'd talk to me last because I provided the best level of detail and customer experience with the professional proposal.
Love it, man. So how much does it cost you to have SumoQuote now? Like, what's the average, add cost?
I think...
Is it per user or subscription?
I think, yeah, I had those numbers on the top of my head for you. I think we're at I think it's like $280 a month. And that's up to, I think that's like 15 users or something. It's quite a bit. It's very economical. I mean, it's a no-brainer, right? Sure. So you
highly recommend it?
Oh, couldn't recommend it higher. Yeah, it's really, and look, we've literally seen during COVID, our closing percentage go up. Right? And Sumo is one important part of that. There's a few things we changed this year, but SumoQuote was a big part of us actually seeing the needle move up on closing percentage and the guys' performance improve. And honestly, having guys that come in and have limited industry experience, being able to provide a professional proposal because of the templates we build out and training them how to use it. And then the customer gets obviously all the information they need because it's already built out. So it makes it much, much easier to provide a professional proposal for a client, you know, with the newer sales guy.
I know you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to learn more, unfortunately, we cannot publish it on YouTube. We do have about 40 minutes of interview with Jason when he shares all the inside numbers, how much money they make in repairs versus replacement part of the business, what services they offer, pretty much everything business owners want to know. But you need to understand that YouTube is open and available to their competition, and we don't want to make companies who open doors to us vulnerable. So if you want to learn business from the best, I highly recommend you roofing school. It's roofing-school.com. You can try it for 1 month. Watch our exclusive content, watch our exclusive interviews, everything else we teach. We have amazing school. We have a lot of amazing content in our school for both brand new companies and well-established companies as well. Check it out, roofing-school.com.